بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome back to our explanation of al-Waraqat of Imam al-Juwayni rahimahullah. Please pay attention to this because this is something very important and I'm going to explain it in a very simple way, and then in the future when I have some time I'm going to do it again and give you examples of each one. بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى. أسأل الله تعالى بالتوفيق والسداد وما توفيقي إلا بالله عليه توكلت وإليه أنيب. But the question that you should be thinking about is الظاهر والمؤول. Like, when does this happen? Especially when he says وإنما يؤول الظاهر بالدليل. What does that mean? So that means that in order for the ظاهر to become مؤول, in order for the implicit, right, to then be interpreted, it has to be done with a dalil. What is a dalil? We talked about this in the beginning of Usul al-Fiqh. معرفة دلائل إجمالا وكيفية استفادة منها وحال المستفيد. We talked about that definition of al-Baydawi, to know what is a dalil. So in order for me to understand the relationship between ظاهر and mu'awwal, then I have to learn about مقيد and إطلاق, تقييد والتقييد. Have to learn about خاص and am. I have to learn about nasikh and mansukh. I have to learn about majaz and haqiqa. I have to learn about those things that we went through basically early on, because those are the evidences and these relationships of text. I have to learn about asanid, which chains of narration are strong and weak, al-akhbar. So basically, for me to think about the relationship between zahir and mu'awwal, between the implicit and the interpreted, I have to know what are the adillah in usul, and then I have to have some information about al-akhbar, about the narrations on behalf of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and added to this, and we won't talk about it now, the qira'at in some matahib, because the stronger meaning is given preference over a meaning which is not as intense. But what I want you to think about is there's this interrelationship between al-Zahir and Mu'awwal. I'm not going outside of the Usul. I'm not going outside to something else. I'm using the Usul for the Usul. I'm using the Usul to interpret the Usul. Yusnad ila ma shuri'ah. It has to be related to what has been legislated. So what are those relationships between the Zahir and the Mu'awwal? We find scholars differing. There are 8 of them I want to mention to you, which are, again, as I keep mentioning the text because it's so important, the miftah of Sheikh Sharafuddin Sharif al-Tilmisani rahimahullah ta'ala. So I'm just going to mention them. I'm not going to give you examples now. In the future we'll do that, but just remember this. These are the 8 kind of reasons or evidences that scholars are going to be using when they debate over what's zahir and mu'awwal, which one is acceptable. لأن قال إنما يؤول الظاهر بالدليل. What is that dalil? One of these 8. The first is al-haqiqa wal-majaz. Al-haqiqa wa maqabiluhu al-majaz. The literal and the figurative. Some scholars are going to take the literal meaning. Some scholars are going to take the figurative meaning. And we know there's 3 types, right? Shar'an, urfan, and then wad'an. Right? There's the shar'iyya, haqiqa. There's the customary, literal, and then there's related to how the language is used. We don't want to get there now, but just think about how incredible our scholarship is. The same people who lie about Gaza and the Palestinians are the same people who lie about our intellectual tradition, to the extent that Muslims themselves have lost faith and trust in this incredible academic tradition that was left for us to carry. So the first is al-haqiqa wa maqabiluha al-majaz. So some scholars are going to say the literal meaning, some scholars are going to take the figurative meaning. Example would be like Imam Abu Hanifa on the issue of وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرٍ أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاءِ. He says lamas here means intercourse. The majority say no, it means to touch. This example of haqiqa and majaz. The second, I have my notes here, forgive me, I have not memorized them, is al-infirad fil wad'i fi muqabilat al-ishtirak. Is a word that has 1 meaning, or does it have 2 meanings? Or more? From shirk. So is it carrying a singular meaning or more than 1 meaning? Scholars say it has a singular meaning, and I go this way. Scholars say that it has more than 1 meaning. They go that way with the mu'awwal, yu'awwilun. And here we're going to see that difference amongst the scholars over that issue. The second, التبين في مقابلة الترادف, synonyms versus antonyms. Does this word have synonyms or not? Other words that have the same meaning or not? Scholars are going to differ over that. One's going to say it doesn't, one's going to say it does, one's going to take the dhahir, one's going to take the mu'awwal. Inshallah, when we model for you in the future, it will be easier bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fourth, al-istiqlal fi muqabilat al-idmar. So, is there a pronoun here or not? If there's not a pronoun in the phrase, then you go with the noun that's mentioned. But if you say there is a pronoun there, what does that pronoun go back to? What is it referring to? So that's going to be interpreted based on that. Those who say no, the noun is mentioned, it's right in front of us, they're going to take that opinion. Here you see dhahir mu'awwal, dhahir mu'awwal. Figurative, mu'awwal. Literal, dhahir. One meaning, dhahir. Many meanings, one word, mu'awwal. Synonyms, no synonyms. Now you see something happening. Bidnillah, may Allah make it easy for you. You don't have the best teacher in the world, but I try my best, alhamdulillah, because maybe the problem is me, not going to be you. So the next is that it's a noun by itself. It doesn't need a pronoun. What's going to be interpreted now is the pronoun. Is it there or not? SubhanAllah, it's amazing, right? The fifth, التأسيس في مقابل التأكيد. Is the word being emphasized or not? The origin is it's not emphasized. The exception is it's emphasized. Just like the origin is the literal. The origin is a singular meaning. The origin is no synonyms. The origin here is that the word doesn't have any emphasis, added emphasis to it. The exception is that it's being emphasized. So the first is going to be the dhahir, according to some. The second is going to be a mu'awwal, according to some. See that? Subhanallah. Nah. I don't think I have them all written here, so I may miss one. The next is al-'am fi muqabalat al-khas. You already know this. The asl is 'am, dhahir is 'am. The exception is khas. And finally, al-itlaq fi muqabilati at-taqyid is that the word is mutlaq. The mu'awwal is that it's going to be muqayyid. So pay attention to these 8. I think I only mentioned 7. But let's go through them again. May Allah give me tawfiq and you. The first is the literal, the dhahir. The mu'awwal is the figurative. According to the mind of that person. The other may say the opposite, but just to make it easy for you. The second is that it has one meaning, the word itself. So that's the dhahir. The opposite of that is going to be that it has more than one meaning. The third, it has synonyms. It doesn't have synonyms. The fourth, no pronoun, pronoun. The fifth, not emphasized, emphasized. حقا على المتقين, for example. The sixth is that it's am versus khas. And then the seventh, itlaq versus taqid, that it's mutlaq and the opposite is muqayyid. So alhamdulillah, when we say فَالظَّاهِرْ يُؤَوَّلُ لَا يُؤَوَّلُ إِلَّا بِدَلِيلٍ is these dalils. So that this is going to make the person disciplined and make them a crafty researcher and focus. It's not just crazy chaos. These are the eight parameters that are going to impact the dhahir. Not what I feel, not what I think, what I'm doing, this. No. There's rules for this, and these are the rules. So what I just gave you is, this is the rubric for the scholar, for the usuli, for the faqih, who's looking at this word. Is it dhahir or mu'awwal? Well, if I say it's mu'awwal, based on what? Then let me look. Is it one of these 7? Not just how I feel, not just what I think. So what you can appreciate from this is the danger sometimes. For example, when people say, the hour will not start until Islam rises from the West. They said Islam rising from the West means Muslims who became Muslim in America. How did you go from that to this interpretation? What of these 8 did you use to interpret that? That's acceptable with those 4 conditions I mentioned earlier. يكون صحيحا عن صاحب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. أن يكون متضح دلالته. أن يكون مستمرا. أن يكون راجحا أو على ما يعارضه. So now you're starting to see, I hope, where this course is taking us and why it's a little different maybe than other classes you took in the waraqat, because we want to train you at Swiss in particular, especially our students, to be active jurists, to be engaged in the law, to be guiding people as best they can according to the parameters of the Sharia that protect us from the munharifin on both sides. So what do we just talk about? It's very important. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. These conditions of Tawil, these parameters of Tawil, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us. We have some more to talk about in the future about al-Zahir and Mu'awwal. I hope now you can see why it says very important. If you like this, please hit that like button and let other people know. I'm so shadow banned on all social media platforms. SubhanAllah, it's incredible. So any assistance you give in amplifying is appreciated. Barakallahu feekum. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.